threatening to get back into cultic because I want to do. I just want more footage for the shorts, and I rediscovered like, oh yeah, that's right, because I had cultic downloaded in my old PC, and I was like, yeah, I wonder why I stopped playing cultic.
What's
and
cultic?
It's the old school first-person shooter remake thing. That's
the one
with the survival mode thing that I played.
The one you were and it had like demons.
Yeah,
it was kind of like Doom, but a little different.
It was like just a bit quicker
and
like
you
weird old weapons.
You were playing a woman in like a mental ward.
No,
that's a different
Nightmare
one.
Reefer.
Oh, okay.
Cultic is the one where you're playing like a weird old-timey detective.
They all blend together for me. They're all the same thing.
It's more closer to Blood, but I know I play a lot of shitty first-person shooters.
Hi.
Hey. How's it going?
Welcome.
Hello.
Welcome everybody. I'm here. It's me. It's Muksama. It's Koi Pond, Riley,
Yeah.
and it's Smuggy.
Hello.
And we're here. We're here again. How's it going? It's been a while, and by a while I mean 7 days.
Approximately.
Yeah. So we've been doing good.
7 days.
7 days.
7 days.
7 days.
And nothing else.
Nothing
7
else.
Days. Like the ring.
A lot's happened.
That was 7 days.
Yeah.
Okay.
A week. That's also how long it took God to make the universe.
So that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Damn.
I do love Jesus. Welcome back, everybody. We got a lot to talk about, a lot of updates, particularly about our good friend. It's our good friend.
Chris Lungford, Oliver Anthony. He's back in the news, baby.
Yep.
Big update.
Big update. Big news. Oh boy, big news.
Big slash. Big slash short news.
Big news. Donald Trump. Big news. Big news.
Big news. Hell yeah.
But
folks, it's news.
Oh yeah.
The news is huge.
We got a lot going on today. We actually have a lot to talk about. It's very rare when you have a lot of. Are you okay today?
No, I'm not okay.
You got a lot of ants in your pants.
I know.
You know?
We're all feeling great and normal all the time.
It's 88 degrees outside, 89 degrees. It's hot.
It was like 90 degrees at night last night, and I was like walking home from my date's apartment. I'm like, oh my fucking God, it's the hottest it's ever been, and I hate it.
Riley had a date.
Motherfucker. This is a normal occurrence.
Are you in love?
Shut up, you motherfucker. Anyway.
Are they pretty?
Oh my God.
I bet you had cooties.
Oh my God.
And this is Riley.
It's the most immature thing I've ever done. I love it. But it's like so fucking hot. It was like humid.
Yeah.
A wall of
Virginia.
fucking heat. I know, but like it's been worse this summer than I feel like it was last summer.
It is.
For
It's
sure.
Well,
it's
yeah, it's gonna get worse.
historically. Historically, it's the hottest the world has ever been.
Well,
Yeah.
it probably would have been better if you took your date fishing. Then you would have had a good day.
Both died horribly.
We both died.
Well, because it's fucking hot outside. I don't want to go be outside.
Not like there's water around or something. Whatever.
Look, being on the water when it's hot is worse than being in the water when it's hot.
I don't actually
That's
know if
true.
That's true or not.
It's very true.
That's true.
Because guess what? It reflects. The water does.
Oh yeah, light.
Yeah.
That's right. It reflects light. Oh yeah, light.
This guy
exists.
didn't take biology.
Did you know, folks, that light
Biology
is energy,
101.
and energy is heat? I didn't know that.
I bet there was a lot of energy between Riley and his date.
Ew.
Wow.
Zing.
Plap, plap.
Whoa. Okay.
Jesus,
Don't.
okay,
Okay.
let's,
All right.
Dial it back.
HR.
HR, hungry room.
What'd you say?
The hungry room.
Oh, I thought you said.
HR.
I thought you said hungry
The
box.
hungry room.
I thought he said hungry box.
Speaking of, I'm really hungry. I know we ate before this, but I'm just saying.
I want
You're gonna
to.
ask us if we want a hot dog?
No.
Yeah, or if you want a soda. Do you want a soda,
Do
Riley?
you want a milkshake?
Riley, you want?
Riley,
I got some candy.
After this, brainstorm where you want to go, because it's up to you, Riley.
Riley, do you want a Twinkie?
Yeah,
you
you
feel like
want a
eating a Twinkie, Riley?
Yeah.
Fuck, that sounds so good. I
A
haven't had
twink?
I haven't had a
Ew.
Twinkie in 10 years. You know.
You are Oliver.
When
No,
there
you
was all
you
the-
are Oliver Anthony's target demographic.
You eat one.
He really is,
you
you
eat
know?
one, right? And you're like, wow, I don't want any more. And then like 10 years come by, you know.
And you're like, man, I haven't had a Twinkie
Yeah,
in
exactly.
forever. Remember that spongy cake, that creamy filling, and then you eat it, and it's like, I was tricked
Yeah,
by
yeah.
nostalgia and a false memory.
Yeah,
This tastes
that's
like
what happens.
cardboard filled with
My
nothing.
long-term memory's fucked.
I've never wanted a
I think
Twinkie.
that is the power. That's the only
It's
power
shot.
Hostess holds. Is half of their stuff just tastes like cardboard.
It's their forever chemicals.
Well, like
It's true.
I don't know.
So you forever remember it.
Chocolatey ones are all right.
That's true. But
I
I mean,
think.
it's chocolate.
Yeah,
Make
yeah.
your
I mean,
own
it's hard to
chocolate.
screw up the artificial flavor of it, but like I'm just saying, that, like
Yeah.
they're fine. I think.
Yeah. My
The Twinkie is something
okay.
that like could
This
have
is
been
embarrassing because it's a health food thing. My boss's wife for my birthday made me ketogenic whoopie pies with a waffle maker, and
Wow.
they were actually really nice.
What's a whoopie pie?
It's like those. It's kind of like a.
That's when a cow poops.
Ooh.
No, I think that's the joke. But like, it's like two kind of chocolate cakes with like kind of
Oh.
whipped icing in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty nice, actually. But yeah, it was really embarrassing because it's health food crap.
Why is that embarrassing?
I mean, saying the phrase ketogenic whoopie pie feels
It's
ridiculous.
so funny.
Like,
I mean,
specifying
That is
ketogenic is
funny.
also weird because it's like
This dude
I feel
got-
like it's kind of a trap. Anytime you mention a diet online, you're going to get a weird look from somebody because they're associating with you with the weird freaks on Instagram who are like, eat several tons of fat and you will magically lose weight, instead of what it actually is, which is, well, it's a diet. It requires hard. It's just about controlling eating habits.
I think Riley has like PTSD
do.
from us making fun of him.
No, I have PTSD from weird coworkers being
Look.
like, all right, I'm going to start the ketogenic diet. How much bacon should I eat a day? And you're like, well, not much. You should probably cut back on trans fats and increase good ones. Well, I mean, you still got to eat food like Brussels sprouts and tomatoes
I love
and
Brussels sprouts.
Yeah.
You know, that's a
broccoli.
what vegetable do you guys really like that most people don't seem to like?
Brussels sprouts.
Okra.
Oh, I love
Literally
Okra.
just Brussels sprouts.
I love okra so much.
I
A
haven't.
lot
I
of
don't.
people hate okra.
Yeah, I don't like okra because it's like slimy and the inside seeds are hard. But I don't. I guess I just haven't had good okra. You know what I mean?
You ever
hard.
had fried okra?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
I mean, fried
like
okra
they like.
is like can be good, but it's like a really difficult kind of balance to make. Like, 'cause you can still overcook fried okra.
And I
It's
think
just
it
like-
was undercooked or something too. Like parts of it are overcooked because the outside's hot from the
Yeah.
the fried
You gotta
being
slow
fried, and the inside isn't because like the seeds are still hard.
And then you got to give it seasoning too. Like the
Mhm.
breading's got to have seasoning.
And a
or it's
dip.
gonna come
I like little
across.
dips.
Yeah, ooh, yeah, a nice dip.
Welcome everybody to our new podcast, the Vegan Conversation.
The
All right?
food.
The food
cast,
review.
the food cast.
Brussels
Yeah.
sprouts are so
Review.
good. I don't understand why people. I guess because they're bitter. Like
Yeah,
Brussels
well,
sprouts
'cause
are
you gotta
bitter.
like if
Oh,
you're
but-
boiling Brussels sprouts only, it tastes like shit.
But Brussels
Oh,
sprouts
I-
are so delicious,
I
though.
love boiling Brussels sprouts too because you put it in a soup broth like you do a vegetable based broth, and then I throw in beets, and then I throw in like spinach, and then I just blend it up after it's all cooked, and then you got like a nice hearty soup.
You ever get
That
like
also sounds nice too. Okay, well, yeah, what I'm saying is like you
You
just
ever, like-
boil it and you don't do
Oh,
anything. It's just-
okay.
you-
I know you don't eat sugar, but you ever like got caramelized onions and like
Mhm. Oh,
with
all the
Brussels
time.
sprouts?
Oh yeah, dude. I
Yeah.
did.
Oh yeah.
I had a caramelized kind of Brussels sprout
Caramel.
deal. Caramelized, like kind of was like they kind of caramelized it in like a slightly sugary like balsamic vinegar.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very good.
I-
Fucking holy shit.
I love
Yeah.
getting Brussels sprouts off the branch, and you just pick them off one by one, and then it's it's something about making food how it actually is supposed to be made instead of like grabbing it from like a Walmart bag. That's like so much more satisfying.
Freeze and unthaw in 5 minutes in the microwave.
Yeah. I think the worst thing is like people really want to rush making their food too. So if they have a frozen food, they're not going to let it dethaw on the counter
Yeah.
beforehand.
Yeah,
And
that's
so
true.
I've learned that with like French fries. That's like, something that you don't think would matter too much. Like you just keep them frozen, put them in. You got to dethaw them. They're going to taste really bad if you don't dethaw them before you put them in the deep fryer. They're going to be hard. They're not going to be soft on the inside. I don't know what the deal
If you
is.
would like slow broil them in the oven
Oh
No, that would
while
be
they're frozen, that can work, right?
Yeah,
but
that
you
makes
gotta
sense.
be really careful with that. Otherwise,
I got a food hack. You ever go to Burger King? Okay.
Okay, got annoyed.
You gotta say, I can wait. Can I get it fresh off the broiler? And that food, I'm not gonna lie, that's gonna be the best fast food you've ever had in your life. Like I am not lying.
true.
Like you say, I'll wait. I'll have it fresh. You know, when you sometimes in the mornings, maybe like before you get to work, you go somewhere and you grab like a little breakfast burrito or a little something, and you're like, shit, they just made this. Like this didn't sit under it. This is like molten. It's great. It tastes. That's exactly what it'll be like.
Hot. It's like it's fresh. It's not like coagulated against the bone or anything like that McDonald's food usually does. It's like, oh, it's perfect.
Yeah, it's like an actual meal.
Yeah, it's great.
All right. So we
got to get back on Oliver, Anthony.
Yeah,
we're gonna be talking about how delicious.
Big news! Oh,
boy.
Before we start, I have a litmus test or whatever.
Okay, all right.
Okay, you know the shopping cart one, you got to give it back to be a good person.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got a new one. Do you say caramel or caramel?
I think it
caramel.
Depends. I say it too.
Caramel.
I think I say it both ways because my brain is broken.
Yeah. I say caramel. I think the difference between this one for this litmus test is that if you say caramel, you abide by the rules. You're really playing it straight. You're looking at how it's spelt. And if you say caramel, it's just the gist of things. You understand what's going on. You know, you're a people person. You're a people pleaser.
So I'll say caramel. That means I can defeat the Matrix.
Oh, okay?
I'm fighting against the Matrix.
Don't listen to this slander.
And all right. Look, before we get into this, I wanted to do one little bit. Hey, do you guys know who King Cruel is?
The Donkey Kong guy?
What? No, not K. Rool, not King K. Rool. No.
I thought you were just morphing as a word.
No, he's an artist, and he sings. He's British, or he's from the UK. I don't know if he's British, but he sings like this. You know exactly what he sings like, because it's like rancid. Mm-hmm. It's like how they have like. Oh, gross. But he sings like with the British accent or with a UK accent. I don't know where he's from, so I don't. So he's just like, I'm sad and I'm in my room, and then it's just like this like plunky little like indie guitar, and that's like the entire album, and people are like, this is great, and I'm like, and I don't disrespect him. I think he's a beautiful artist. Like, yeah, I think he makes a lot of good art. But if you take yourself out of it for a second, you realize you are listening to It's Monday and I'm sad because I miss you, girl. Like, he literally sounds like that. I will pull him up after this and show you, and you'll be like, okay.
I have a story about that insofar as, like, I learned that there is it's like the Midwest, and seemingly the Midwest only, there's like a subculture of dudes. It's lad rock. It's American people pretending to be British people singing punk songs.
That is the most Midwestern thing you could ever think of.
Yeah, just like I've got a fake British accent and I'm singing a hardcore song. And that's it. It literally sounds like that, right?
Okay, like the Clash or something.
Yeah, but you know the girls, or I was always a girl who did this in like middle school who pretended to be British. You ever had that?
The joke. No. A white lady goes to Britain and then has a British accent for a while.
These are people these are kids who like never went to Britain, and they like
never had
dude. It happened like I had 4 white women in my school who pretended to have British accents.
Ooh, good news! Big news! It's raining.
Oh, hey. Or just be humid again after it stops raining. I mean,
if it's raining,
I hope it comes down. I hope the sky falls.
Big news.
Big news.
There's a guy anyway. So
oh boy.
There's in the lad rock community. There is a guy who got quote unquote canceled because he was like, every song that he makes was talking about like this chick who had dumped him like 5 years prior.
Hell yeah.
And he was just like. He just constantly makes songs about this woman, and then until like one of the lad rock guys is like, "Hey man, that's actually really fucking creepy. You should stop." And he's like, "All right, it's not weird. It's not weird. I'm just kind of it's a thing, you know. It's a joke. It's a bit." And they're like, "Are you sure? You're sure it's not the one specific lady that you're somehow mad about and seething about over 5 years later?" He's like, "No."
I had a girlfriend who I dumped when I was still a teenager, and she went to a poem competition, a spoken word competition, and won based off of a poem she wrote about me and performed.
That makes me have the heebie-jeebies. Yeah. That gives me the.
And then I got sent a link to it,
What the
Yikes.
hell? She sent you the link?
Yeah, she had one of her friends send it to me.
that's so cringe.
That's really fucking tough.
Grow up.
Yeah.
That's
I was like, it was okay. It was really funny because I was like this. Oh my god, this is about me. Kind of good.
damn. Like damn, this is fucking bars shit. Damn, she really roasted.
Oh yeah,
my
it was
ass.
like
Fuck.
it was like if Drake wrote a love song about you. You're like, fuck, damn. This is hell yeah. That's a pretty good line.
The only
Yeah,
other worst one is
it's pretty clever.
If Drake wrote like a diss track and it was actually good, and you're like, oh man, shit, he really got my ass.
Yeah.
Drake really got my ass.
Yeah, Back to Back was written about you, and then you're
Yeah,
listening
yeah,
to
exactly.
it, and you're like, you're Meek Mill, and you're like, shit, this kind of goes.
It's like, oh, fuck.
Shit,
Oh, then what am I gonna do?
I'm gonna release.
fuck.
I'm gonna release. What was his name? Warpath, or what was that? Hip hop heads know what Meek Mill did after that. He released like a song like 7 days later, and it was like nobody even listened to it.
Yeah, that's the thing. I
Yeah.
listened to back to back, and
I was in my car. I talk about this moment, and people don't believe me. I was in my car when Back to Back dropped, and I was getting ready to go into a coffee shop to get coffee, and literally I saw 3 people pull up their phones and start listening to back to Back when it dropped, the day it dropped, and I pulled up it on my phone in my car, and I started playing it over the speakers, and people were walking by going, yeah, like that's you're listening to it, like you hear this. There was never a moment like that again in like hip hop history in my lifetime so far that has been as culturally relevant as. Did you hear Back to Back? That's like when Charged Up dropped. People are like, this is kind of weak. I don't know where he's going with
the
this.
other one I think is like the Chance the Rapper's really bad album.
Oh,
like
the
that.
Big Day.
Like,
Yeah.
"Ooh, I love my wife. I love my wife. Ah!
Let's go ride a bike. Go
With my
ride.
wife. Ah!
Yeah, and the worst part too is I love Chance the Rapper.
Yeah, it's
like
pretty
I
sick.
love 10 Day. When he came out with 10 Day, I listened to 10 Day, and I was like, this dude's like around my age. He's in Chicago. He is killing it. Like he's doing great. He drops Acid Rap. I go, oh, he's like really killing it. He's going to be up there. He drops The Big Day. That's over. He has like 3 singles
shame.
before Big Day that go off like Big B's with like Young Thug. And I'm like, this shit goes in. And then he drops Big Day. And then I'm just like, oh, he dropped Coloring Book too. That was his other one. That one was good. And then it went to that. But I wanted like the real rapping Chance from Acid Rap. We'll never get it again. Good. It was a good time. I mean, I loved what he did with Joey Badass. This isn't the hip hop podcast either. Sorry. We're gonna get on to
I
it.
understand half of it.
Yeah, like Joey Badass and Chance did a song recently. That was good. Made me remember the good old days.
Good old days.
Back before.
Or 9/11. When you could drink in my car. That's right. You could drink a 12-pack in your car, and the cops wouldn't pull you over. And when you wrapped your car around the tree, well, that was between you and yourself, and not the government.
That was between me, Jim Beam, and the Lord.
That's right.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, I remember one time I was coming out of a club. I passed out in the middle of the road, and I blew a 0.78, and the cops, they only gave me a citation and made me stay in jail overnight. Those are the good old days back before the liberals took over and made drunk driving illegal.
I said I used to blow something higher than my GPA. Tell you what, brother.
That makes me
That
so
GPA
sad.
was real sad.
Well, you got Chase. What was your GPA in high school, Riley?
I don't actually know.
You don't know?
No,
Yeah,
not a
Chase.
fucking clue.
Chase had 0.8, and I had a 1.7.
Yeah.
I think mine was slightly higher, but it was like I don't know. I don't remember. I got a really bad GPA.
All my teachers,
because I had an anxiety attack
like-
halfway through one of my things and just tanked it, and I never recovered, and that was my college career.
yeah, all my teachers would bring me in like to the principal's office or whatever, and like talk to my parents about like why I'm not doing the work and shit like that, because they were like, oh, you know you can do it. Why aren't you doing it? I'm like, I don't want to do it.
What I'm getting here is that Maxie's a terrible student,
Yeah.
unlike me. the
I
perfect
don't
student.
want to.
I don't want to do it, man.
I got failed because I got kicked out of a school because I was a bad boy. And then
We all go there.
they failed me in court. They told me the wrong dates of my exams. and I showed up on a Saturday, and they said, well, you can't take it at Saturday. And I said, I have in writing that you told me to show up on Saturday at this time. And they're like, must have told you wrong. And then they failed me. And I was like, and that was like my big test of the year for each class I was in. So then when I went to a different school after I got like expelled that year, I ended up going to a different school. And then I was able to bring my GPA up to like a 2.8 by the end of my high school, I believe. But the first 2 years of my high school, I had like a 0.8 or something like that, like a barely eligible. I also had to make up a class when I switched schools.
Oh, it's funny too, because like we had 1.7 and like 0. My GPA in college was like a 3.5.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I wasn't even doing anything.
Yeah, we both made Dean's List. We were there.
Stupid.
We got scholarship money. We got good write-offs every now and then.
Yeah, it was
Grants. There you go.
Grants.
when high school be like, oh, we're trying to teach you the college world isn't going to be so pretty as you think it is, and then it's just easier. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with you guys?
Yeah. And then college is just like, nah, bro, just show up when you want to. It's okay. Just get the work done. We'll figure it out. Or you get the guy who's like,
Actually, this is my classroom.
The math teachers do it, right? It's always the math teacher.
Yes.
Actually, this class is at 8:15, and if you are late, you're not allowed in anymore.
It's the math teachers or the history professors. It's like the history or the math professors.
I had a fucking geography teacher who locked the doors.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what the 8 a.m. math teacher would do. Actually, it was like
it's always
7.
tenured professors.
I'm like,
too.
what's
They're just
wrong with
crazy
you,
as
dude?
shit.
No,
Yes.
Like you're a
Absolute insanity.
like it's not their job, but like you give them some leniency.
It takes a certain type of academic brain to get that fucking
Deranged.
and deranged.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of
It's
it
not
comes
even-
down to just
It's not even like it was like the major class. It wasn't even like it was like the capstone seminar or something, which like, yeah, you're going into the field. You should want to like participate.
Yeah,
This
you
was the
gotta do
entry
the work.
class. This was like the entry to math that I had to take for the third time because I kept swapping colleges.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there like doing the work, and like these people are trying to get in. It's like 2 minutes after the fucking class starts. I'm like, this guy's a dickhead. This guy's a fucking
just
Like,
loser.
yeah,
lost
it's
it.
a real
He goes-
piece of shit.
he
It's
goes-
like there's a
like,
difference if you're like
the-
10 minutes late, but if it's like a minute late and the door is already locked, it's like, yo, fuck, man, that's crazy.
Yeah, well,
And
it's-
the fucked up thing that was for the geology teacher or geography teacher was just like that dude was running a summer class. So
Mhm.
it's like, a lot of the people who are doing that are like doing either basketball, spring training or
Yeah.
whatever, and they're traveling halfway across the camp, like running halfway across the fucking campus, or literally driving from the arena that was across the river in Radford back to the campus, and then trying to find a parking spot, or coming from a job or something like that, and all this other crap. And it's like, if you're late by a minute, the doors are locked and you're going to hell. And it's like, oh, Jesus fucking Christ, brother, come on.
I love geology. I love rocks. I love pushing two rocks together. I love seeing which rock is stronger than the other rock.
Okay, if you have browsed YouTube Shorts and seen comedians and their bits, I'm not, but I love rocks. You know the bit. I'm not gonna say it. Max, you just fell into like the funniest unintentional thing I've ever seen.
I'm not getting this bit
Yeah,
out, sorry.
it's okay. I'll show you afterwards. I'll play it right now, probably. Okay, there you go. I played
There you
it.
go.
But
Oh, the beauty of editing.
yeah,
The beauty of post-production.
Thanks,
yeah,
Future Chase.
just
Future Chase.
I
Give me a
think-
funny cowboy hat. Thanks, Future Chase.
yeehaw.
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw!
Oh boy, big news, big news.
Did you see that one?
Oh
That he
yeah,
just posted? That was a fucking good one.
that
Just
was
a
good.
Buff army dude with the big ass going and shaking his ass to the camera. I
Yeah.
love the NPC content, man. I don't know. It's so fucking stupid.
Yeah, I would do it if I didn't have a soul. But
I don't think I could keep it up as the.
I couldn't
bit would
either.
break.
Yeah, it would break after an hour.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I guess you just turn
Those
it off
people are just Terminators. Like the people who do the NPC shit. They're literally
for like 4
just
hours.
Like
Yeah.
4, 6, 8 hours a day. They're like Terminators, man. Like
Yeah.
they
Different breed.
they're acting Terminators. Like if the acting industry was more open and we had a better, like, more healthy, like, independent movie scene in the United States, those people would be like the next Jackie Chan or like the next Daniel Day-Lewis. But no, they're stuck on fucking TikTok being like, Ugu Sagori in like a funny wig instead of like
Rose smells good. Rose smells good. Rose smells good.
I need more ammo. I need more ammo. I need more ammo. That was so funny, man.
Okay.
Alternatively, just like make them the next Charles Bronson. We need we need
the glizzy guy.
Canon Films to be back. Canon Films needs to come back so we can have dumb, shitty action movies and have all these weird freaks on TikTok star in them.
I love the fucking glizzy ones too, dude. They're like, I'm like, holy fuck, these guys are insane. I love this bit. Keep doing it.
Glizzy time.
1,000 glizzies activated. I'm like, holy fuck, this guy is the best.
Okay, all right.
We're getting too esoteric with this.
Yeah.
Like, we return to the big news.
I'm sorry.
Oh boy.
It's 26 minutes in and we have not revealed big news or any
All right,
context.
all right. Look, Oliver Anthony in the last episode that we talked about was a breakthrough folk country-esque pop star that was coming through the woodworks. He was on mainstream media, national-wide media, known as a soulful country singer voice.
Farming man.
Yeah, the good old everyday man.
Farming boy.
Grew up in Farmville, Virginia. Grew up in the middle,
This dude don't know
you
what
know,
Farmville looks
just somewhere random in Virginia. And
Central Virginia farm man.
in the last episode that we talked about Oliver Anthony, we revealed that Riley actually has met this person.
I worked with them for like 2.5 years.
And that Oliver Anthony's roles are a little bit more nefarious to how he came to fame than you would originally think, just perusing and seeing him.
Industry plant.
Yeah, he's an industry plant through the Daily Wire. So I just wanted to catch you up, so even if you didn't watch the last episode, now you kind of get where we're at. Well, we were discussing how he was an industry plant and who he was and everything like that last episode. Now there's some updates as to what's happening.
Is the Daily Mail related to the Daily Wire? Okay, because the name scheme's similar. I was making sure.
It's
Okay.
almost always like the same.
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. I understand it's like similar because it's supposed to be like
evoke
a.
the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just making sure there weren't actually ties between the two, even though like they're both kind of
They're the same.
Yeah.
They're not. They're two.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just getting
Just clarification.
Yeah, making sure everybody else knows too.
But yeah, so Oliver Anthony, Chris Lunford, he's been in the news again because conservatives, they're upset. They're upset that he hasn't said more slurs.
Oh, that's so true. If you don't say at least 10 slurs a day, you're not meeting the quota.
Well, also too, they found like some anti-Jewish propaganda on his like YouTube. Make your big brain bigger.
Yeah,
like
the make your noggin bigger thing. Like, the thing about it is it's like, I've seen people talk about like his sort of walkbacks of a lot of conservatives praising him. And none of them seem to mention the anti-Semitism thing. And I think that he successfully ran away from that one. He's gotten away with like sweeping that shit under the rug.
So was it
pretty aptly?
So was it like a skull caliper thing?
No, it's a
With
bunch of
big
like
brain?
trutherism 9/11
Okay.
videos. Like, Jews
Oh,
did 9/11,
oh.
the dancing Jews.
Jews
thing.
did it, but not
Well,
the government.
well, no, the government, but at the behest of Jews in
Oh,
Israel.
yeah,
If
not-
I don't.
Man, they're so damn close, man.
Not-
I just
well,
don't get it.
I want to talk about this a little bit next episode about 9/11 and stuff like that, and Jimmy Carter and like
all that
Ronald Reagan and stuff. But that's like next episode.
Mm-hmm.
But he essentially thinks that the Jews are global elites, at least through what he watches. I don't know if he actually thinks that, but that's what his YouTube.
It's really hard to say
playlist.
because, like, I think that most of his views seem to be like very typical neocon shit, where diversity, it's fine, it's okay, it's great, blah blah blah. But do not for a fucking second make me pay for another human being to live a life of dignity or anything like that.
Don't
Like, he's
you
walked
ever-
back a lot of the phrases and praises that conservatives have, like probably partially to get away from the anti-Semitism thing, but also because I have a different thing in that The conservatives, in their infinite wisdom, brought up the Oliver Anthony folk song in the RNC debates. And all the weird freaks who were not Donald Trump.
In the RNC debate?
Yeah, the
So-
Republican National Convention.
Yeah.
debates
That's what
For
I'm.
the primary.
So he's literally involved in that?
No.
Oh.
They just brought the song up and they put it on the thing, and they're like, "Mr. Ron DeSantis, what do you think Oliver Anthony meant?" And Ron DeSantis is like, "It's me, Ron DeSantis. I think that we should bomb all more black people. That's what he agrees with me, Ron DeSantis." And he's insane, right? He'll be like, "I think he means
Jesus
that we should
Christ.
kill all trans people and put them in Guantanamo Bay. Me, Ron DeSantis." And that's like what all the RNC freaks were basically like. He's a soulful man who cares about destroying the welfare state and putting all blacks in jail. Like that was their take.
Yeah.
And I think part of him walking back is him seeing those people and probably being, oh no, they're freaks. This might be bad for my brand.
My target audience might be the worst people on earth. Maybe I shouldn't be.
Because I think he did mean it at that point, because in order to understand like the fact that they're saying this and then walking it back means he intentionally reached out in order to touch with them
obviously,
too.
but then
Like,
if
so
you're a guy, it's okay. Insider shit from knowing the guy and knowing his friends and his coworkers. He has not signed any contracts.
Yeah.
As far as I'm aware, Mr. Oliver Anthony, Chris Lunsford, has not signed any contracts with anybody yet. I think because he does not want to be locked into the conservative grind, which does not guarantee him anything. If you're a musical artist and the person that you're signing up with can't give you like a good guarantee of positive management, and you're like an artist with maybe 2 or 3 hits, you've yet to put out like a big studio album that's like taken off and giving you residuals and shit, and so far the only residuals you're scraping by is like YouTube stuff, Spotify plays, and a few Apple downloads, but you want to get bigger. You want commercials. You want your face on t-shirt. You want merch. You want yourself to be more than just a 5-minute hit with conservatives.
Yeah.
You might want to, hold your cards for a little bit longer and try to get a deal with some guarantees, and conservatives don't do that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
They
like-
just don't.
and once he steps his slimy foot into like the actual media industry, it'll be really hard for him to be removed outside of like something major happening, so he can keep doing the underhanded shit without having to.
Yeah, he can he's allowed to play both sides once he's signed to like an actual label who like works in the music industry. Because they'll monitor him, whereas the conservative one is like, if you try to sign with like a conservative think tank, they're literally telling you to say this, do this.
Like, I don't think that's what he wants as an artist.
Somebody's like either like smarter than him to begin with, telling him to do this, or like he has the wherewithal to be like know how to like play both sides at that point, which is kind of a little worrying. Well,
I wouldn't
not
say it's
really.
like worrying, but it's like it speaks to him being a little bit smarter than like a lot of people give him credit for. I think I think that is kind of true. Like, you have the ability to, find a person that will boost you, and then you kind of sit back and you're like, all right, I haven't signed a contract with any of these freaks yet. I'm going to try to ride this wave out, and then Donald Trump and the Republican National Convention use your song for weird propaganda shit, and you're like, oh, this is a lot weirder than I thought it was getting.
Well, and on top of this too, like,
you don't want to be viewed as like a MAGA freak,
So-
especially like when somebody as contentious as
So
Nikki Haley
look at-
or Vivek Ramsaway or Ron DeSantis is saying like, he represents me, Ron DeSantis, the trans person murderer, and the guy who wants to destroy Disney.
I mean, this is like the whole issue with that
Sugar, man.
Oliver Anthony is going into is the same that most Republicans are dealing with, where they see that the MAGA like conservative ideology is like fizzling out. Like that voter base isn't, but that marketing tactic doesn't work for 90% of America.
Most of their stuff that they have left in the tank is not a winner. Like, abortion's not a winner.
Yeah.
Anti-trans stuff is like a winner in certain places, but the places that it's a winner in aren't swing states.
Yeah.
Like, it's not Georgia. It's not
So-
like Ohio. It's not
I'm-
guaranteeing you Arizona. It's not Nevada. Like, it is not keeping. It's not like New Mexico where like your grip is slowly slipping, and it's not helping you claw that shit back. Like Nikki Haley did her old fucking weird psycho shit, and she lost.
Yeah.
That's a bad sign national.
I think that but I don't think it's like a smart move from Oliver Anthony, because if it was a smart move, he would just have doubled down on the MAGA stuff. Because
I don't even think that would be a smart move.
no, I do because look at what happens to every other person in the conservative sphere who does that. They become Ted Cruz. You see what I'm saying? They become Mitt Romney. They become like these like fringe, like, yes, they will be here longer than the MAGA thing, but like, will they be anywhere as successful as being an outright just deranged weirdo? No. Like, those people made millions and they left. That's it. Like, look at My Pillow. Look at all of these like
Well,
like
the My Pillow guy is not having millions
yeah,
anymore. He's
well,
literally driving
this
himself
is-
into bankruptcy.
well, this
through
is
his
what-
fucking,
well, this is what happens, yeah.
amphetamine addiction.
this is what happens when like you have people who are high risk gamblers, right? Like, do I think the best option for him is to distance himself from the Republican Party? Yes, but he's not doing that. He's distancing himself from like the MAGA sphere, which is like he's still like a
I mean, but he's still like
weird
a neocon
corporate-
with, like,
yeah.
he has
Don't-
like vaguely neocon swinging, like, you know, Bush era Republican shit that he latches onto with a handful of like ideas that are like progressive, quote unquote, where it's like, which basically just means he says something like, actually, I think America's a melting pot and that it's good that black and Indian people are here. And it's like, that's a very, very milquetoast statement that he did on like Fox News or whatever. And then it's just like, oh fuck, I'm being canceled. And there was a clip that he made like a couple days back, I think it was like a day ago, where he was like, actually, I don't really know why, you know, Ron DeSantis and stuff says that, well, you know, that you know, my song was about, you know, the Republican Party and stuff. Well, I wrote that song about them. You're like, you know, I don't have a country accent, but I'm a working guy too. And he's still trying to do the working guy thing,
Yeah.
even if he doesn't
Yeah.
have like an accent. And all
I
that
feel
shit.
like after all the shit Ron DeSantis did, like, why aren't there more Republican people like doing what he did and just ruining the fucking state?
Because he's in a very specific part of the country where
Yeah.
he's allowed to, like, Florida's rules and regulations allow anybody in power to do way more than they should. And he's also like in a place where you will never get a Democratic leader. Like, so he has no worry of getting
yeah, he
voted
he
out.
rules
Or,
Florida with an
yeah.
iron
Well,
fist.
what about stuff like the Midwest and like
Well, but those states
and like
are
Texas?
have been shitty. It's
and those states are more libertarian focused, where it's like, don't,
and they
don't,
have way
yeah.
more industry. Like,
Yeah.
they've got way
Yes.
more
I
tax
mean,
base. Like Texas is
not-
huge just because of all the industry that's still there.
And Texas will shift. I mean, it's already shifted, and it continues to shift more blue. It's just the fact of like they don't
Especially
have
they'll
an.
probably shift blue if like, you know, Abbott and his dumb cronies don't fix the state's crumbling power infrastructure sometime over the next few years. It doesn't matter how much you say stuff about like how solar power and wind industry is soy and it's for cucks and it's actually
Yeah.
the reason for the blackouts. Like,
you
if
want
you
to
don't
live
do
comfortably,
anything,
you fucking cook.
yeah, like you want to live comfortably in the state that regularly gets up to 112 degrees during the summer. Well, how about you go to hell, you stupid fucking lib idiot? But like, that's the thing. People don't give a fuck about your culture war bullshit. They give a fuck about whether or not their air conditioning works when it hits 120.
Yeah, who would win in a fight? You think Greg Abbott or another tree?
Another tree for sure.
Yeah, yeah,
Well,
me too.
I think
Trees
like
are
I've
tough.
met other disabled people,
Uh-huh.
and I think all those disabled people could beat the fuck out of Greg Abbott easy. That dude's
Yeah.
the doughiest motherfucker before the tree happened. He's like an orb. He's like an
Yeah.
orb on a wheelchair.
Yeah,
You poke him and he goes,
yeah,
He's just an awful human being. I hate Greg Abbott so much.
me too. But the thing is that Florida has a lock. They also have an industry. Same with Texas, where they have enough moving parts. Whereas like the Midwest has like nothing. It has
okay,
random
so
GM factories.
They have like also a lot of those states have already have been crumbling for decades and decades and decades already. It's like you can say like, well, why haven't they ruined it like they've ruined Florida? It's like, well, it's already ruined. Like it's already
there's nothing
like,
to get rid of.
Missouri constantly has boil water advisories, like rolling boil water advisories, literally every summer, pretty much. Like whenever those fucking factories get overloaded and overheated and shit like that.
But
like Florida is one bad hurricane season around from unironically being a recession causer nationwide because of the insurance industry bubble.
Because not only this, like insurance is already pulled out of Florida. So like they've already canceled out plans. They already expect a catastrophic statewide devastation. They've already expected that. So like that's already in motion. But on top of that, DeSantis has refused to take any federal funding for emergencies, essentially intentionally bankrupting his own state and causing inflation in his own state with other actions to go higher than any other state, like ×2. Like, but he doesn't care because he's leaving. Like if something bad happens, he just goes.
He's just using all of this as a platform to run for governor or for president because this is the only year he can do it. Like everyone was like, I don't know why Ron DeSantis didn't wait until 2028. And the answer is like, what the fuck was Ron DeSantis going to do to stay in the news cycle through 2028? Another 4 years? Like how the fuck was Ron DeSantis going to like stay in the news cycle for another 4 years, run for senator and lose?
Like this is the whole thing is you run and you lose and you make all the money off your campaigning and then you leave.
Yeah,
and that's
like,
and then you write a book.
Fire Ron DeSantis,
And
then you write a bestseller.
And then
How America failed me.
Yeah, like literally, like it's in this is like copy paste every Republican who's ever ran for president with no hopes of becoming president whatsoever.
Yeah.
Like Ron DeSantis has a voter base higher than most degenerate weirdos, but he also is like still a degenerate weirdo that most normal people are like.
He's just off-putting as shit.
Yeah.
And all of his staffers are off-putting as shit. Like he does not have like none of these people are working with the cream of the crop. Like like conservatives that don't want Donald Trump are like hoping that like Tim Scott or Ramsaway are gonna fucking Vivek Ramsaway, Big Vivek, the Big V, are gonna
the heart of Lorcan.
Yeah, the heart of Lorcan are going to catch up. If he leaned into the heart of Lorcan shit, I swear to God, he would actually.
I'd vote for him.
He would be president if Vivek Ramsaway tomorrow made a political ad using the AI Dagoth voice. He would be president in 2024 easily, but he's not going to do that because he's a freak. And he has no
Nerevar, I see you're wearing your DeSantis hat today.
Nerevar.
Imagine he goes up for the debate.
Don't you remember the time that Donald Trump almost started World War III with Iran? Do you want another term like that, Nerevar? Of course not. We're going to destroy the public education system of the United States, Nerevar.
Honestly, if all we have to really worry about with Vivek is that he gets a hold of the heart of Lorcan, because at that point, there's no way to stop him. You know?
Once he makes Mount St. Helens erupt, and he's going to blow up Yellowstone. That's the gimmick. Yeah.
Ah, Nerevar, I see you've been helping Vivek find the heart of Lorcan. Yeah, sorry.
No, those people have no base because Donald Trump still exists. But without Donald Trump, what base do Republicans have anyway?
I mean, that's the thing. They don't. Like, I think that it is a losing battle for like somebody like Oliver Anthony to even attempt to be around Republicans, because I think that the Republican Party, if Donald Trump loses and we have like some big major event, which will obviously happen unless Homeland Security puts a stop to it, which they are part of the problem, like as you can see from the people who are actively getting ready to go to prison now, like, so unless you quell whatever happens from Donald Trump losing this next election, and what's going to happen is there's going to be a neo-lib party, and then there's going to be the Democratic Party that's also the neo-lib party. Like, I don't think neoconservatism is like lasting. Like, I think it's already fizzling out.
Well, it already proved itself to not be lasting after like the Iraq war imploded and fucked up everything. Like, if they hadn't gone to war with Iraq, they probably could have rode Afghanistan to like another term, but like it was so disastrous and like so disproving. Like ISIS, like neoconism
I feel like if,
created fucking ISIS.
Like
I really feel like if they just rode the wave of fascism, like
Yeah.
during, like if all Republicans just hopped on board for the fascist wave that Donald Trump did, we would be fucking over. It would be over for us, man.
it's still close to it. Like that's what I'm saying. Like if he loses the election, and then he does something. I mean, literally, there's enough people lined up that are willing to. And I'm not saying it's like a civil war. I'm saying it's like a slow, or not even slow. I think it's just a takeover of our systems.
It's not really. The only real worry that I would say of not like take over the system is the take over the system thing has just been a problem.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
It's a multifaceted like problem of like, well, which wins first, privatization or like weird freaks just pressing the delete key on the things that make our country function.
Well, I feel like it's easily the pressing the delete key thing, because like how much movement and how much political sway that like something like Trump did, and like the movements that it had, and even like stupid shit like January 6th, like that was a big nothing, but like see how much political sway it had within like the sphere of things. Like if everybody and their mom that was Republican jumped on board that, I think we would have been in a really bad spot.
I think we are in a really bad spot.
Well, no, we're in a bad spot.
No,
but
I
I'm
mean,
saying, like,
I get what you're saying, but I think that's already happening. Like, I think it's already. I think what you're afraid of happening is already happening.
no. I get that's already happening, but I mean, like, imagine if like every single they weren't even trying to maintain a
That's
facade.
not how that really works, though. Like they don't. Most Americans don't have politics. Most Americans are just all ranting, right? That's the thing. Like most Republicans are stupid as fuck, and they don't understand how the world works. Okay, here's my example, right? Ron DeSantis and a bunch of other dumb morons during the Republican primary, like debates, were like, "I'm going to do more violence than anyone else to Mexico." And then, like, Nikki Haley or somebody was like, "I'm going to go to war with Mexico."
Oh, hell yeah.
You can have Republicans say, "Yeah, we should go to war with Mexico," but the minute all you need to do to disarm that is say, "Okay, but what happens when you can't get your coffee in the morning?"
Yeah, this was
Like that,
yep.
That's the thing that they. A lot of Americans love their treats. They love their treats. The only reason that they're mad about inflation is because. Did you know that chicken wings, 7 chicken wings at Waffle House or Applebee's, it costs $14.99 now?
So this is what I wanted to say.
My McDonald's meal costs
That's
more.
how I feel.
I actually do feel that way.
love my chicken.
I
Yeah,
don't.
but like the only reason you know what inflation is, or that you're blaming it on Joe Biden, is because Joe Biden's in the White House. Would they actually be able have the political tools to like actually say what is happening?
So
inevitably inflation went up under Trump.
So I think that yes, not because they intentionally would know, but I think anybody who is willing to step by step them like an infant into what happened, they can understand what happened. But if they already have preconceived notions via like Republican ideologies being fed to them, then no. Because that's all they've heard on television.
look, this is
Like,
okay.
but most Republicans, most Republican Americans still use communism to mean thing I don't like.
But
Like,
so
they're stupid as shit.
So
Like,
the thing that, and what you were saying is very important, because I do think this is true, but I also think, I think that as long as people have treats, and it's like a pretty well-known thing on the left now, it's talked about on Twitter and left spaces, if we have treats, nobody will protest. Like that's like the issue. As long as people are still happy with their treats, they won't protest. But I will say, everything's lining up to me, in my opinion, everything's lining up to go bad. You have Donald Trump, who is obviously going to try to do something unless he gets expedited to another country,
but then they don't have a base for that.
But
They don't
it's
have
not.
an
It's not a
organization.
base.
It's just going to be no. The problem with that, it's not like a fascist revolution. It's like,
No,
it's not
yeah.
going to be the siege. It's not going to be Turner Diaries. It's going to be some fucking crankhead Donald Trump worshiper from Alabama is going to blow up a fucking sewage.
Yeah, that's what I'm.
refractory and pollute the fucking Mississippi forever. Like but you can't do anything about
No.
that. It's
No.
impossible.
I'm not saying that there's a way against that. I'm saying with how like the infrastructure in America is set up to basically fail, and nothing has been done about it for the last
60 years.
Yeah, like literally every opportunity that a Democratic president has had to fix the infrastructure in America, they have refused to do it. Like 60% of their imports come in from California. It's a bottleneck. You can't get it in faster than it's actually coming in. Like you can't get it
like
in.
a lot of our industrial infrastructure comes from either Russia or Mexico.
But what I'm saying though is that I think that fascism and I think that the MAGA thing will fizzle out. Like within this election cycle, I think it'll fizzle out because it's reliant on Donald Trump. No other person can poll as well as Donald Trump. So as soon as
I think it'll just get crazier. Like they'll just have crazier and stupider culture wars. But it's not.
That's
like,
what I'm saying.
You're not if it's not.
No, I don't think it's going to be a mass takeover or a civil war or this or that. I think that it's literally going to be a slow, gradual burnout to where this just continuously happens and fascism is able to push the
I
pedal.
don't think fascism can push through because it doesn't have organization. Like every single time. What I'm saying, I'm not. You're missing my point here. I'm saying that they don't have a base. Americans are dumb as fuck. They're stupid as hell. The average American can't read past the 7th grade level. They are incapable of understanding things. Fascism requires more than that, and it requires like a base, which we don't have. It requires a system of violence that America is incapable of summoning past like a bunch of dumb idiots with tattoos bludgeoning you for being mad that water prices.
So what I'm saying is, and this is where I think it's not being understood or I'm miscommunicating, is because I think that once it hits the infrastructure, people can't get their things. I think once it hits that, because it's leaning towards that way, unless there's action coming up that stops it. We're in a downward spiral.
Yeah, like Walmart and Target, you said the other day.
Yeah, like Walmart and Target are literally like, hey, you have to stop people from paying their student loans back because if you don't do that, we're going to crumble. Like we're not going to have an infrastructure to continue to have our stores be. We're going to have to close down stores. Essentially, is what they said. So you got even corporations begging the government to cancel student loans, which is insane. But on top of that, well, it's not really too insane because it's a private corporation and they want their money. And they get money the more money people have to spend. But let me get to what I'm trying to say, because once the infrastructure goes, I feel like there's two things that can happen. One, people rise up and do the thing that is pretty standard, which is you go and you protest. My fear, personally, is that since there's a hole missing for half of the political process in America, where like conservatives have no base, they have nothing to run on except for like, reactionary politics and like how somebody makes you feel at night, like thinking about a trans person just swiping a credit card at the same store as you. Like since they have that hole missing from their entire base, my fear is that instead of somebody like a Bernie Sanders and AOC and Ilhan Omar being able to quell the masses and being able to say, hey, let's protest for this, for healthcare, for this, it's going to go not into like the pretend purge like chaos mode, but into there's going to be some weirdo from the Republican base who's able to go, it's because of this. It's because of them. It's because of this.
Well, then at that point, it is just.
And I think that's
it just becomes Yugoslavia forever.
I think
the last days of Yugoslavia forever, and not like there's no United States anymore. Like at that point, you're past the worry about what an electoralism is, and more Yugoslavia. Like there's a war, and the UN steps in or something.
I don't see the states balkanizing though like that.
No,
I feel it like I know,
I'm just saying
but
violence. There doesn't need to be a state for violence to happen. I'm saying like we're talking like fucking. The Congo Civil War, where there isn't a state. There's no sides. There's just a bunch of people murdering each other while a bunch of other countries step in and say, hey, I'll pay you $10 million and a bunch of guns if you make sure that we get, like, as long as you consider, if you ensure that Ferronobium reaches France on time.
Well, I mean, look at who, like, funds America, like, in America's media. Like, I mean, you have, like, I don't know. I feel like
I'm saying that your worry is is so far out, and I'm not saying it's not founded. I'm saying like you're.
I think it's a different type of. I don't think it's a different type of fear.
Could go than just that, right? Like.
I'm worried about what happens when that hole in the Republican Party is missing for. I mean, it could very easily. It could once the bottom falls out. It could mean that we have the Democratic Socialist Party, like a
Or it's just
more
gonna be a bunch of
left-leaning
different,
party,
like blue dog Democrats
or
come
that.
back or whatever.
But
the
to
fuck.
me,
like,
but to me,
I
that's
don't know.
fascism.
I like
To
to
me, that's a
see-
step towards fascism, though. If it's not like a bunch of,
I mean, but like at that point, like it's that's easier to deal with than just Yugoslavia.
I don't know.
Forever.
I don't know, because Yugoslavia forever kind of like dies.
it has conflict, whereas the
doesn't
other
need
one
to.
is like,
Like,
well, that's what I'm saying. Is
Wars
like,
don't need to end. Like
Well, the
that,
thi-
realistically and historically speaking, like there are still wars that are happening right now that started in the 90s.
yeah,
Like
Well, I guess my thing is like, so you might have an in-group fighting or whatever, but I think it's so much harder to remove something that people don't consider as a problem than something that people consider
that's
as a
my
problem.
that's my fear. And I don't think it's like fascism to where it's like blatant every day. I think it's just more of what we have. Like
the
it's more,
same,
yeah.
but on a greater scale at
It's-
that point, because they have more control over the.
It's like more police funding, more federal funding for just police-like forces, more invasions in different countries. Like my idea of like, and less treats. That's the worst part.
well, less treats is coming no matter what. That doesn't
I know, it's just sad.
There's no stopping
I mean,
that.
I
It's
Want
just,
Italian ice. I want Italian ice.
not just Italian ice. I'm saying like coffee.
I want chocolate.
Not
Yeah,
being in
chocolate,
a not
like,
being in a food
chocolate.
desert.
Like well,
Yeah.
not just being
Well,
in
I
a food
mean,
desert, just most
I-
staples that
my-
people
one of
think
my-
about being gone, like peaches. Peaches are
Oh, yeah,
probably going
yeah.
to go extinct
Like,
within the next 10 years.
My I was in a class that was about like food health and sciences and stuff
Yeah.
like that, and they were talking about food deserts, and like, wow, there's a lot of places that are food deserts within the United States. We could easily fix them, but we choose not to in order to maintain political pressure within the areas.
Yeah.
It's so fucked up.
Yeah, extortion, right? Like basically food extortion.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
You keep. It's an easy way to keep those people poor.
Maintain
Or
a
you just
scarcity.
vote, and it's
Poor
going to be
health, too.
different.
But my whole thing is that I think that voting base or that group of people that
But, like,
Oliver
a lot of
Anthony is
people
marketing
are
to.
extremely incoherent, but they also fucking hate the alternative. Like, okay, Joe Rogan had the Babylon Bee freak on,
Right.
and loathed that motherfucker the instant he started talking.
I don't even know who
Joe
he is.
Rogan,
Who's the Babylon Bee? Can you give just a
he made a joke like a week ago at the expense of a 12-year-old girl who was forced to give birth to a rapist baby in Mississippi.
Oh, okay. So
And
just
Joe
a real
Rogan's
piece of shit.
face was like I genuinely think they piped like over this Babylon Bee moron's headset, like Jamie from Joe Rogan being like, "You need to stop talking about 12-year-olds being raped, or Joe Rogan is going to leap over the table and kill you with a shovel."
Wow.
It's like Joe Rogan is going to reach over and grab that neon sign and stab you to death with it if you don't stop talking about baby rape. And like the minute he suggested to Joe Rogan that like it's okay to give birth to a rapist baby, you could see Joe Rogan getting more and more
Yeah.
fucking furious that this dude is existing in front of him, suggesting that. And a lot of Americans are like that. They're the far extreme is there, and it's palpable. But like a lot of those dudes are off-putting freaks like Ron DeSantis, or off-putting freaks like Nick Fuentes, or off-putting freaks like the Babylon Bee guy, or the minute you give those dudes a check, they become like Matt Yglesias, and they're like, well, I have these weird politics, but, I think that building an ethno-state would mean that I can't go out and eat at the Peruvian restaurant every Saturday, and I think that's untenable. I can't take that.
I personally, and this is maybe it's because I'm more doomer qualified right now.
Yes.
Like maybe
Correct.
maybe I'm like in a more negative space because of everything that I've consumed in media, but. And I understand this. Everybody gets their ballots of like or their times where they feel like this. But I genuinely do think that even Joe Rogan is more left than the average Republican. I think he is.
I also think that the average Republican's views and beliefs are incoherent. Like they don't. Like,
I agree.
If you tell them
I agree.
straight up, like what the like again, Kansas,
Yeah.
very far right state, voted in favor of protecting abortion. Like
Yeah.
they overwhelmingly blew out the constitutional amendment against abortion. Ohio, far right state, very far right state. 63% of people voted against the amendment that made it so that that the Republicans were proposing that would make it impossible to protect abortion in the state because they wanted abortion.
I think that's a disconnect between the average voter base and how the voter turnout is. It's not so much that they're
but
they're
in order, high
right-wingers.
voter turnout works against Democrats the vast majority of the time on a wider political scale. When you have more people voting, usually it shifts to the right. You see that for the gay marriage amendment inside of California way back in the day. The thing about it is that sometimes if you just say to voters this is what the outcome of that policy is, they'll say, oh, well, that sounds like shit. And the only time that changes if those voters are so stupid, so uninformed, so psychotically brain dead, like the pullout of Afghanistan, that they trick themselves into being this is solely Joe Biden's fault that we failed in Afghanistan. And not just looking at a literal 60-odd, 40-odd decades of foreign policy leading to this violent movement.
A categorically good thing to do, Joe Biden pulling out of
Afghanistan.
Literally
no winning
but then you have but in the same breath you have Rachel Maddow talking about it and stuff. You see what I'm saying?
But she has
maybe I'm doomer.
No fucking brain.
Yeah.
Rachel Maddow is
but
a
they don't need
Republican
to.
at heart. Is a fucking war hawk psycho like most news people.
I just think
news people
I don't see the qualifier for needing a brain. I guess maybe this is a doomer thing again, but I've not been surprised so many times. I've been surprised so many times by having faith that people have normal brains.
You're also,
I think if you talk to an average person, even if they're a liberal, they're going to have these war hawk tendencies.
I agree.
That's kind of the issue here. I don't think it's an issue of not having.
Think about war that way.
Well, yeah, because they don't have to interact with it.
It's Call of Duty.
Yeah, they don't
or a real-time strategy game, and not a series of logistical challenges that we are not equipped for anymore.
Yeah.
We have burnt out the logistical capability to do a peer-to-peer war over the last 20 years.
I mean, if you ask any liberal, if they thought the Afghanistan war was a good thing going into it, 85% of them.
Minimum, 95% because
look at
they
their
don't
votes.
understand. Because again, they don't know.
Yeah,
they don't know. They don't read. They don't read books.
I guess
They don't read articles. They don't know anything about history. They don't know anything about anything. If you suggest to somebody that 9/11 happened because of the consequences of United States foreign policy over the last 40 years, they won't believe you. They're like, no, it happened because of terrorism. They hate freedom. It's no, that's not how that works.
Yeah, I guess that's why I'm not surprised if that hole that is left is filled with another fascist attempt.
But it's not
an attempt. No, I'm not saying an attempt either Hitler coming to power. I'm saying a boring, slow, gradual increase to where we're going.
America.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
But it's all it's I don't know.
I think there's a much stark difference between the average Democrat that isn't Bernie Sanders slowly turning us towards fascism, and then somebody who's blatantly doing Ron DeSantis stuff or Trump shit.
But there's very few. There's still not a lot of political will, a lot less political will for that shit than you think there is.
I do think I agree with you. I just think that there's a whole
end goal that's going to happen.
I think that there's a hole missing, and I think that it is very likely that somebody will try to attempt to fill that hole. Whether or not they're successful is completely dependent on that person.
And I don't
because
know.
they have the funds for it. They do have the funds for it.
I mean, but do they though? A lot of states.
Rupert Murdoch.
No, but Murdoch isn't coming in to rescue any of the Republican parties inside of the
but they're not,
Midwest that are fucking.
But they're not pushing it. They're not doing that. They're doing the Mitt Romney. They're doing the.
No, they're not. They're very extreme. A lot of these places are really extreme, and they're not fucking succeeding. There's a lot less success than you think it is. You are wrapping yourself up in doomerist philosophy. You think that we're about to turn into fucking the Turner Diaries.
No. I think that there's an opportunity that we can do the opposite.
Yeah.
I do. I genuinely think we could, I think within the next 20 years, we could move closer to a European, socialist based country than ever before. Like, I legitimately do think that Americans wake up every day and see how far behind we are now, which is something that didn't happen when I was a kid. And I'm not doomer in the sense of like, I think that no matter what, it's going to lead to fascism. I think that I think what's doomer about me is that I can see, oh, there is potential, and I would never be surprised at this point if somebody went to fill that hole in America entertainment. And even though they're unsuccessful, that's my thing. And that's why I said even Oliver Anthony, I think him leaning towards MAGA would have been better and then got out than him playing with the rest of the Republican Party, because it's all, you lose money no matter what. And if he's going to be crazy and side with these people anyway, I think that it's a terrible publicity thing on both sides. Like, I don't approve it. Like, morally, I think he's a terrible...
I think the only thing that I would say that it's like, I just think that he doesn't want that anyhow.
I think so too, yeah.
I think that like it doesn't take a genius to like to see what's on offer and to look at the people that you are going to have to deal with every day and just be put off by them. If you're like a dude who just wants to make music,
I think
if you're like saying like, I want to be famous and I want to make music, but also I want to make music and I don't want to be whatever the fuck Matt Walsh is.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's more like that he just wants to be an actual artist rather than like. I might be reiterating, but literally, it's just he wants to, because he wants to be the artist. He like doesn't want to be a political affiliate at all. I don't know.
Also too, like,
you can be politically affiliated an artist, but he still just wants to be an artist and not like a culture war psycho. Like fucking Foggiato Blow. Like, who the fuck is Foggiato Blow? That dude doesn't do commercials for Walmart.
I think he just wants
more saying, like, I think that's just an average person's stance, is that they just want to be famous for their...
Yeah, I think he just wants to be famous.
Him being picked up by Turning Point USA or whatever the hell they were. Which one did you say it was?
The Daily Wire. But
Daily Wire, my bad.
No one knows who the Daily Wire guys are outside. Like, the closest they got to national prominence was Run, Hide, Fight, the school shooting movie.
I was saying more so like him being picked up by them and being used by them. If he's taking step back, like, from all the other shit that he's been doing, it's probably more like he's just like an average person who probably got caught up in right-leaning tendencies via media.
But also, like, it doesn't take a genius to like have some guy to just do a little bit of research and see the shit that they do and see how like kind of reviled they are by the average person.
I don't know, because like you already said like the average American's dumb as hell. Like, I don't think like, and to know the intricacies of just how bad some of these things
like
are.
dog whistles, to point out dog whistles and stuff like that too.
But what I'm saying is like not just that, but it's not like, not saying that. I'm saying like if you're like, okay, the Daily Wire guys, and it's like, oh, our successful clients are, and who can forget, versus like the guy, I don't know, who's a country artist guy.
Well, the Daily Wire,
the guy
probably
who signs Jason Aldean or whatever, comes up to you and is like, hey there, boy, how would you like to be on the the Country Music Network? And you're like, oh boy, would I? Like, the Country Music Network before, or Ben Shapiro being like, and then we will make you play the Turning Point USA, and you can go to CPAC. And it's like, go to CPAC, Country Music Awards. Go to CPAC, Country Music Awards.
Well, I mean, there's a lot more prosperity.
Guy, like, who the fuck?
There's a lot more prosperity in one of those, but I think he still hasn't distanced himself enough. Like, in my head, just even going out and saying, like, you know, his like Fox, even agreeing to be put on Fox News.
But like, the average American knows what Fox News is.
Yeah, but the average American is also, like, in my opinion, I don't know. I think the average Fox News viewer is, in my opinion,
everybody
a lot more right-leaning than...
like, my coworkers watch Fox News.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people watch Fox News that aren't just right-wing psychos. They just watch it because they're the average American's like, I got to get every single side of the issue in order to understand what I'm dealing with here.
I don't know. I think it's like not to say it's a slippery...
Tucker Carlson, he's a real crazy guy.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's their talking point around the thing, you know?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I think it's just I think that it's
that Ron DeSantis, he wants to nuke Mexico, but I don't understand how that is going to help Minnesota, you know, that kind of crap, you know? You have right-leaning policies, but you're like, you know, I don't really think I like the whole fentanyl thing, but, you know, I don't think that carpet bombing Juarez is going to help me get my coffee in the morning, if you know what I'm saying. I got to get my Timos in order to really wake up.
I don't know. I think there's I think that the idea of like the Fox News viewer being nuanced is like.
No, they're not. But
Yeah.
it doesn't. But you're also like trying to give them too much credit to think that every Fox News like viewer is like ready for the fucking Bund to happen and to march on.
No, I don't think they're ready. I don't think they're going to do
everybody.
that.
They're
I
like a
just
lot
think-
of them are
No.
dumb, but they're not
I think
dumb
there's a
in the right way.
fringe. The thing is, there's a minority fringe that will.
No, I also think you're conflating like my idea of like what would happen in a bad way or like what these people are with what other people like what liberals think that right wing people
Like,
are
well,
because
probably
because the idea of fascism is scary to me for the systematic way that it is. It's not because I think they're going to start arming guards and being on every street corner and like
Or
you
what is it? What's the militia here?
the Minutemen of Virginia.
We're gonna.
We're the new Minutemen of Virginia. Yeah, like I don't think
I'm
that.
not going to shoot myself on the dick this time, Darlene. I am a
That's
minute.
kind of what I'm getting at. We're gonna have more like Minutemen of Virginia groups, and they're gonna like if they're gonna do anything, it's gonna be stupid shit like the
Like the people who
January
try-
6th,
like
but
the
like
people-
smaller or different.
Like the people who tried to kidnap the governor type thing, where it fails miserably,
There's gonna
but
be,
you
like-
know.
and there's going to be just be more shootings. There's going to be more mass shootings again. Like
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
already
yeah.
one every day, but there's going to be more. Like that's just going to happen.
I also,
Like, my only statement on that, like the only thing that I would say is like I don't see how that's different from what right now. Like it doesn't matter. Like that I don't see how that was different from 10 years ago either. Like it was the Bush administration. I don't see how
Yeah.
that's different from Barry Goldwater. I
No,
don't see how that's different from
I don't see how that's different
like,
from any
the guy who's
Republican.
running against Carter, who's really crazy. I don't see how it's different than Ford or Eisenhower or any of these.
No,
other
I
people.
don't-
Like
I don't.
it's the same. It's business as usual. It's just you got to adapt to how you organize against it.
Well,
There's already a pretty good amount of people, enough people organizing and pushing back against it that some people look at their stances on abortion and say, I don't want my daughter to be forced to give birth to a rapist baby. I'm voting no on banning abortion in Kansas. And then that's it, right?
Yeah,
Game over for that stupid fucking idea.
well, I will
back
say,
to the
like-
drawing board, dipshit, you've lost again. Like, it's there. A lot of Americans are stupid, but they're stupid in the same way that they've been stupid 10 years ago. It's just they're stupid faster now because of the internet.
Well, I think my critique of like the Oliver Anthony thing is literally just that Republicans are fizzling out, and that's a good thing. Like no matter which, my thing is that there's a hole going to be in the Republican Party, and there might not be a Republican Party. The same way that before the Tea Party, right? Like we had this issue time and time again where you had like
I was just kind of thinking about the idea of like, oh, who replaces the Republican Party? And it's like the Libertarian Party, but all
Yeah.
they can do is
Yeah.
talk about age of consent for some reason.
My 12-year-old should be able to have a marital affair with other grown adults who are willing to give me money for her hand in marriage.
I should be able to sell children. And
I'm
then
not
like
ready
the
for that.
Democrat, it's just like it. Okay, my imagination here is a situation where it's like the
Hello?
Republican Party is dead. They're collapsed. They've been exiled from America, and you've got like Pete Buttigieg on like the debate stage, and then like Gary Fontwhistle, libertarian, and like Gary Fontwhistle is slamming down on the podium. We need to sell children, and Pete Buttigieg is over there like, no.
But what about
And then that's it. Pete Buttigieg wins in a landslide, highest electoral count in history. Let's go, highest
But what
electoral
about the
college
nap?
victory since FDR.
what about the nap? We got to get that nap in here. We gotta have more private, personalized property.
What was the thing? It's like,
Please, sir, I
like,
am the garbage man.
treating the water is statism. It's violating the nap. And then it like Pete Buttigieg's like,
You will
my
not.
fellow Americans, I think that we should be able to drink clean drinking water. Americans going crazy.
He
for
did it
Pete
again!
Buttigieg. He's done it again. What a genius.
no, I mean I
You
legitimately
cannot
think,
use my highway anymore. It's privatized property.
I legitimately think though that is
If you elect me, John Galt III, as your president of the United States, I will blow up I-95. And everyone's like, Kirsten Gillibrand wins in landslide.
look. Yeah, I think Oliver Anthony's an idiot. I think that no matter what he does, he's made the wrong decision already.
As Republicans are wont to do. If they elected Oliver Anthony, what if Oliver Anthony's our next conservative president?
No, we got what's his name?
Listen,
Kyle Rittenhouse.
Something stupid.
I think Carl Rittenhouse is too cringe.
We've got Kyle
He's too
Rittenhouse as the.
repellent.
Oh yeah, like that's ever stopped the Republican Party.
No. Like, I think it has. He's the Jeb Bush. Right,
Oh,
to
okay.
Oliver Anthony or Logan Paul.
But Jeb
Republican
Bush, like,
presidents.
what? Jeb Bush won everything.
Like,
Please clap.
Says,
Please clap.
says Kyle
sorry,
Rittenhouse,
Mom.
while like Jake Paul is the Republican front runner. For
I could
the
see that.
2035 or 2036 or whatever the fuck presidential candidate race.
I can't think of
It's every day, bro.
It's every day, bro. They make a law to make it so that Elon Musk can run for president, and then KSI beats him in the Republican primary or something crazy like that.
KSI would also have to be allowed to run for president as he is British.
No, that's
yeah.
what I'm saying.
Oh yeah,
Like,
yeah.
They can
Yeah.
allow other nationals to run for president.
That'd be
so
cool.
It's the KSI versus Elon Musk run
only-
off Republican
yeah,
primary.
literally,
and KSI wins.
That's it. The only two primary like people that aren't the Republicans, like as far right as Trump and like how they run things, are like the only thing I can think of would be Elon Musk and Kanye off his meds. Those are the only two people.
Yeah, that have,
Kanye
like,
does
actual
not poll.
shot.
Not
at doing
anymore,
it.
because
He wouldn't.
all the liberals of all the milquetoast liberals of the world are doing this exactly. Orange man bad.
Okay, all right. No.
But instead, it's like black rapper man bad.
The thing is that somebody had to.
That is what they're doing.
It wasn't Jake the Rap. It wasn't like Chance the Rapper. It was some other guy who's like talking about like, okay, so what are the arguments against Kanye West running in 2020? And somebody basically explained to him like, okay, well he's a spoiler candidate for the Republican primary, and if you vote for him, Trump is going to win immediately. And then like that rapper's like, okay, well if you heard all your arguments, and I think you should vote for Joe Biden. It's like, oh wow, this is a weird fucking 2020 election was weird as shit. And people had to be convinced, literally convinced in 2020 at the very least, to say that like, okay, well Kanye would make a terrible president. You know that he would be a very bad president. Like even if you recognize him, and even if you like you see yourself in him, he'd be very bad at the job. And it's like, okay, well sure, I guess. And it took him being like, I love Hitler, to like make him be like, okay, hang on.
All right, we're done.
We're
We're
done.
done.
now.
I think
We're
he
outta here.
wasn't a good candidate. Like, I think he wasn't accepted by the populace even before the loving Hitler shit. Because, like,
Yeah.
because
Adam
thinking of
22, Republican primary candidate for 2028.
If you elect me, I'll let you fuck my wife.
You know,
Quentin
for a percentage of the American electorate, that might be it.
Quentin
That- you might
reviews
get it.
2020 election.
Yo, okay.
John Tron 2020.
Oh my God!
no.
Oh gee, Linus Tech.
If you,
Oh jeez.
Did you see-
No. JonTron wouldn't make it because he's part Iranian. So
that's true. Yeah.
He's
Yep,
not white
yep.
enough. Sorry.
Damn, imagine not being white enough for your own ideology.
Yeah. Imagine being a
Vivek
ne-
Ramsaway is like a literal Nazi, and he's a dark-skinned
Is it-
guy, and that's why
Oh
he
my
might
god!
not
It's
actually...
literally the joke online. It's like, all right, everybody, let's go to the Nazi rally, and there's just a bunch of brown people in there.
It's a bunch of people from India and Brazil.
It's so
Yes, yes.
stupid. Oh god!
Well,
Ain't life funny, folks?
Ain't
Hey,
life
think about
funny.
it. Next time you look at your local Nazi, go give them a DNA test.
Oh,
Get some skull
sports
calipers
guy.
out. Huh?
oh, I don't know.
Dave Anthony.
Oh, I
Dave
don't know.
Anthony, president for what was it? It would
Look.
be 2032.
the LAD Beast or whatever that is.
Yeah,
You-
yeah.
Whoever
something like-
owns that, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, look.
Running on empty food reviews
Joe,
for
I
the
would vote for
Democratic
him.
primary. I would vote for him too.
I would.
Make a great president.
He would up our fast food quality so fast.
Oh my God, the food quality in the United States would
He,
go up so
he would
fucking
undo
fast.
he would undo all the work Herman Cain spent his entire life doing to fuck up the food industry.
It's like if you
Oh my
elect me,
God.
Culver's will start using duck fat to fry their
I
burgers.
love
There is an
Culver's.
immense that he would win in a landslide.
I
with
would
that
eat
decision.
Culver's every day if we had it. But all right, we gotta go, guys. We've been doing this for a while. This one,
So an hour and 20 minutes.
yeah, we're taking it. Yeah, we got some.
We got some stuff to cook, and then we'll come back to you.
Yeah, we're gonna go. We're gonna cook up some ideas.
Yeah,
The memory
we
bank.
shot through all of them.
Yeah.
got
No,
you.
we got a lot. We got a lot
We're
left.
running on empty.
I've got
as
to,
one
I've got to
would-
spelunk for more ideas deep within Maxie's psyche.
Yeah.
Me and Chase are going to use the Psycho Driver machine
It's
to
gonna-
go deep inside of Maxie's psyche.
Yeah, it's gonna be
And
like
fight his inner demons.
it's gonna be
Like
like
Shin Megami Tensei if.
Oh.
it's gonna be Guardians of the Galaxy 3, but instead of raccoon, it's going to be Maxie. Yeah.
What's the difference? Yeah!
Got him. Stupid animal. No, I would never say that. Okay, bye. I love the raccoon.
All
Bye.
animals are beautiful.
Yeah.
I love birds.
I love birds.